I was either 3 turning 4 around that age, so the first year was pretty much all practice and just kind of rolling around, didn't know much. I was pretty mean when I was younger, really mean and aggressive, kind of just bulldozing people over. And I mean, a double leg to half Nelson was my forte, so that was pretty much all I did. And then once I started competing, then I really didn't stop, and I started competing to the point where I'd do 2 youth tournaments a weekend, one on Saturday, turn around, drive somewhere, do one on Sunday. So that was pretty much how my youth was.
Did you find success early?
Yeah, I was pretty good when I was younger. I wrestled, obviously, I competed against the guys because there wasn't many girls wrestling around when I was younger. So, yeah, I guess I was more athletic and more mature than the guys at that age. So, it was always fun to make the boys cry.
So, when you were growing up, what was the mix? Did you wrestle in tournaments that were mainly girls or guys or a hybrid? Like, what was the mix of tournaments when you were growing up?
Growing up, I really didn't wrestle many like female tournaments, unless I absolutely had to. I didn't really like wrestling the girls. Um, I thought it was more fun, more challenging to wrestle against the boys. So I think the only time that I really wrestled against the girls was at the state tournament, the folk style state tournament, and then the freestyle state tournament. But besides that, the whole year was boys, and I even wrestled in the Greco division for a while. I think I won a state title in that, and then I didn't really start competing against girls until my 8th grade to sophomore year. So yeah,
And I'm assuming when you started wrestling against girls, you had pretty successful career at that point.
yeah. I went to like a few nationals here and there. I went to Folkstown National for the first time in 1st grade against girls, and I think that was like one of the first like female tournaments I ever wrestled. And then, like I said, just like Folkstyle State, Freestyle State, I wrestled the girls. And then my 8th grade, my 6th grade, and 7th grade year, I made a Pan Am team in the females division. So I won body bar like down in Texas and got to go to Pan Am's at a pretty young age. And then my freshman year of high school, I had knee surgery, so I was out for the whole year, and then I got right back to it. Well, COVID happened, and now I'm back to it. So, yeah.
When did you know you wanted to go all in with wrestling and that this was your sport?
I did a lot of sports growing up. I did gymnastics, softball, baseball, tackle football. I had a few injuries with my shoulder when I was in fifth grade, I believe. I tore my growth plate out of my shoulder because of overuse. Because I was the outfielder in baseball, I was the quarterback on the football team, and I was wrestling all at the same time. So once I took an injury, I kind of picked up a different sport. I played, or not played, but I did mountain biking. Um, that was a lot of fun. And then that year after mountain biking, that's when I had knee surgeries. And then kind of after my knee surgeries, when I gave my all to wrestling, because I got an offer from the Olympic Training Center to go live out there. And I moved away my sophomore year to go live at the Olympic Training Center.
Yeah, the decision to go out to the Olympic Training Center, how did that come about? Did Jessica Medina, who is the coach for the Olympic Training Center and the Elite Accelerator program, did she approach you for that?
I remember, so I made my first world team in 2019. It was the cadet world team. And I was still kind of like recovering from my knee injuries. Like they weren't 100% yet. And I wanted to wrestle at Fargo, but we didn't think it was a great idea just because I didn't want to risk anything because Worlds was literally a week after. So I made the decision to come and train at the OTC for a month before Worlds. And then right after training there, the camp was also out there. So I was out there kind of just training alongside the senior level athletes. And I think I can't remember if it was Coach Terry. I think it was Coach Terry pulled me aside and was like, "Hey, like I think we had like a meeting, and he's like, we put this offer on the table. We'd like you to come out here next year and live out here and train here," and kind of just like laid out the whole package deal. And when I found out, I think I went back to my room and I cried because I didn't know how to feel. I was like, this is scary. I don't know if I want to move away. But I was like, but they just asked me to come train at the Olympic Training Center. Like, this is cool. I can't turn this down. And there's a lot of mixed emotions. So I think I waited to the last day before I had to make the decision. And then I finally made the decision and decided to go out there. So, yeah.
Will you give us a picture of what it's like to be at the Olympic Trainer as a high schooler and train full time at the Olympic Training Center?
Yeah, so when I moved out there, I was 15. I was still really young. I guess I was pretty mature for my age. So the coaches felt like I would be able to handle it. I went out there, I think I started school and I did online school. But when I moved out there, it was like the beginning of September, and Colorado starts school at the beginning of August. So I was already a month behind. So I had to catch up really fast. Um, so yeah, I pretty much woke up, went to practice at 9 a.m., came back to my room, did school, ate lunch, then either did a practice or another lift, and then either more school or hang out with friends. So yeah, it was a pretty like every day was really similar, and sometimes it was really hard for the first few weeks, just kind of having to say goodbye to my family and everything at such a young age. But eventually, I got used to it and started making friends, and it was okay.
Was it worth it to go out there for that?
I think it was, yeah. I learned a lot going out there. I learned a lot about myself. Learned a lot about what it takes to become an athlete on that caliber of level, and I got to train alongside with like Tamara, and at that time I was pretty small. I was still probably walking around at like 62 kilos. So I remember trying to wrestle with Tamara and she's like, I'm gonna crush you. But yeah, so just getting on, like I trained with Sarah Hildebrand a few times and Macy Kilty, and it was just awesome. Like the training partners out there, it was so much fun and kind of just pushed me into what I was gonna have to look forward to soon.
Teach us, tell us what it takes to get to that level because you're right there. What does it take to get to that level?
A lot of dedication, lots of grit, that's for sure. I kind of gave up everything for wrestling. I don't really, my life isn't like a typical high schooler whatsoever. I haven't gone to real school since my freshman year of high school. And I don't know, the dedication's crazy. It takes a lot of focus. And, if you get out, like sometimes I start to lose focus. I'm like, I just want to be regular. Like, I just want to be a high schooler. And my dad kind of has to push me back on track. Like, no, you're not meant to be a regular high schooler. You have goals and you need to achieve those goals. So I don't know. Lots of hard work, I guess. Um, yeah, all I do is school, train, and then I have some younger siblings that I take care of and kind of help them get ready for school, help them with homework type of stuff. But yeah, definitely not the typical life.
Again, paint a picture of what that looks like to not go to public school, but then take online classes. What does your day-to-day structure look like when you're taking online classes and then training for wrestling competitions?
Yeah, it's different. It depends on the day, I guess. Some days my siblings are here and some days they're not. But the days that my siblings are here, I'll have to get up at 6. I have to get my little sisters ready. I do their hair, get them dressed, walk them down to the end of the bus, just stuff like that. And they leave around 7. So then after 7, it depends on the day. Some days I'll have practice up in Madison, so I'll have to get in the car and drive right away and practice with Nazar, and just some days are like that, and then other days I am at home just doing school until pretty much practice and um chores. I don't know, not nothing too exciting really. Some days I'll have practice here in Burlington, and then some days I'll have practice in Madison. But when I drive to practice changed now, so practice doesn't start till 7:30. So now I'll leave around 5:50 and get there just in time to do practice, and then I won't get home till 11. And then I have to do it all over again, wake up at 6, and it's just a long process. But yeah, that's pretty much my day to day.
And you can take your online classes at any time during the day?
Hmm. Yeah, pretty much whenever I have time, like in between practices, once I shower, eat, then I'll sit down, bust out homework for 3, 4, 5 hours, and then um, get right back to training. It's
So
not
I'm
online
really
school isn't my
interested.
favorite thing.
Yeah, I'm interested in that part of it because I just want to know, is there the capability for interaction? Can you ask questions? How do homework assignments work? How do you take tests? Like, just give us a little bit of a layout of how that operates.
Yeah, so it's a lot of reading, which it's not my favorite thing ever. I'm a very visual learner, and I think that has a lot to do with the way that I learn because of wrestling. And so online school is a little difficult because it's a lot of reading. So I'll read some long paragraphs, jot down some notes, and then I'll do a couple assignments based on what I just learned, and then I'll take a quiz. And then that's like one section, like one day. And so I'll just have to do it all over again the next day. And yeah, it's a lot of the same stuff over and over again, which this summer I took classes all summer because I wanted to graduate early, because last spring it was really tough because out at the Olympic trials I had to do finals on top of trying to figure out how I was gonna make the Olympic team. So I kind of just wanted to get school over with right after Christmas. So hopefully I can manage to do that.
Let's break down your year, because there won't ever be a year quite like this for anyone. At the age of 17, you qualified for the Olympics trials. So you had to go to the last chance Olympic trials qualifier, got beat by Kennedy Blade 16-6 at 68 kilos, then bumped up to 76, made it to the finals against Adeline Gray. You make 2 age level world teams, junior U23s. You've already won juniors, and you just won the world team trials, senior world team trials. So when you look at the total of what I just said, how have you gotten to this point at the age of 17?
Um, Honestly, I feel like this year I really made a big jump. Um, I don't know, just I started working with Mazar, and that's helped so much, like technique wise. Really try to focus in on a lot. He has so much good stuff to teach me. Like every day that I work with him, I learn something new, and it's just like, wow, I didn't know I could do that. So I think that is a huge part of my success this year. But honestly, just like keeping my eye on the main goal. Like I want to be an Olympic gold medalist. So I've known that I've wanted to be an Olympic gold medalist since I was 7. So I kind of just um put my head down and work, and I don't know, it's been seeming to work off. I just kind of go back home, get back to work, wrestle, do school. Just like pretty much my life, I guess. Um yeah, so at the beginning of the year in November, in 2020, I wrestled at 62 kilos. And that was a really hard cut because I was cutting from like 72 kilos to 62 kilos. I lost to Macy at that tournament. I think it was like junior nationals or something. So I lost to Macy, and then I found out I could try out for Olympic trials. And then I made the decision like, oh, I'm going to go up a weight class. I'm going to go to 68 because I don't feel like making 62 again because that was horrible. And yeah, so I went to last chance. I lost to Kennedy. That was a very tough loss. And then I kind of just strategized on how I wanted my tournament to look, and just decided to go up to 76 kilos after that. And honestly, the heavyweight life is much better.
So let's just stop there. After the Olympic trials, you and Kennedy were the talk of that tournament because you were both 17 at the time and both made it to the finals of the Olympic trials. Afterward, when you get back to your hometown, what was life like knowing that NBC was putting a spotlight on you and you're a big talk of the wrestling community?
Yeah, it was interesting because I just kind of like did my normal day-to-day life. I think I went to the Planet Fitness one time with my best friend, and afterwards we stopped at the store, and there was people recognizing me there, and it was like, oh, you're that 17-year-old that made the Olympic trial finals. I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess I am. And so it was cool just to see everyone recognizing me, and all the little girls that go to my club, and just all the little girls in Wisconsin always looking up to me and reaching out. So it's definitely different now than it was last year because not many people knew who I was or what I really accomplished. So after the Olympic trials, that's kind of when everything started taking off, and there wasn't typically many places in the wrestling community where I could go and people didn't recognize me. So it's been awesome. I love it, but yeah, it's definitely different.
A lot of pictures, autographs, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I when I was younger, I used to practice signing my name because I told my dad that one day I'm gonna have to give this autograph to people. So I'd practice it over and over and over again. I still do it just out of like fun and habit. Like if you look downstairs, I think there's a grocery list sitting on the counter. I'll just be sitting. My dad will be talking to me. I'll just be sitting there writing my autograph, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm just like, "I don't know, I'm just writing my autograph, I guess." Um, but yeah, so lots of people ask for pictures. Just I thought at first I was like, why would you want my autograph? Like, I don't understand this. I'm just this high schooler. Why do you need my autograph? But um, yeah, I don't know. It's different, that's for sure.
Is your autograph legible? Could we see the Kylie Welker, or is it kind of messy?
No, it's really neat. It's pretty yeah, I've practiced it so much that it's very eligible and or however you say that word, but um yeah, no, you can definitely read it.
And then next step was you made two age level world teams, juniors and U23s. Had an amazing junior world championships, didn't get scored on, won the junior world title. You got a gold medal from that. Take us through that experience and what it was like to be an age level world champion.
That was a lot of fun. It was really exciting. I in 2019 I took a pretty hard loss in the semis. I think I got teched in the semis, and then I came back and got a bronze medal. But I was super excited and super pumped up for the 2020 year because I was so ready just to make another world team and hopefully try to make a cadet and a junior. But obviously, COVID had different plans for that. Um, so I guess I was hungry. I wanted to win a gold medal on the world level. I went there with the mindset that I was going to win, and I executed that pretty well. Um, it was different because I've always competed at a middleweight or lightweight, lighter, anyways, not super light, but pretty middle. And so going up is a totally different ballpark because like the Japanese girls at the lighter weights are super good, and then the higher you go, like not there's not many big Japanese girls. So even though Japan wasn't there, but it's just different. Like the European countries are better at the heavier weights, so I had to kind of learn. I was like, so who should I be watching out for? Because I don't know anything about this weight class. But I watched some film with Coach Jess and Nazar, and honestly, they were like, "You're just on a different level than these girls," and I just had to believe that I was. And so I practiced. I didn't really change anything. I didn't have to game plan for anyone, and I just went out there and did what I like to do.
When you got back, was there any question that you would compete in the senior world team trials?
We were a little like concerned about like we weren't sure what Adeline was gonna do. We weren't sure if she was gonna um make like take the world team spot or not. So we weren't 100% sure what was gonna happen, but I definitely wanted to compete and try to make the team. Once we were in Russia when they came out and said like Tamara said she was gonna take the spot and Adeline said she was gonna take the spot. So me and Kennedy were together when we found that out, and it was just like, oh, we're both gonna be wrestling at 72. Yeah, and I don't know, I didn't really had any concern that I wasn't gonna wrestle there, so yeah.
Storyline going in was it was hopeful that you and Kennedy would meet in the finals. That happened. You're still 17. She turned 18 on September 4th. So you guys meet in the finals. You made a lot of adjustments and you looked good in that first match where you won 4-4 on criteria. What kind of adjustments did you make and what kind of game planning did you do going into that match against Kennedy?
Yeah, so I did a lot of game planning and practicing with my coaches. As soon as I got home from Junior Worlds, I got right back to the mat and I told my coach from back home, I was like, listen, like I'm gonna have to be Kennedy to make this team, and we both know how the last match went. So he asked me for film. He asked me how she wrestled. I kind of gave him what I know and what I've observed, and I sent him some videos, and he went back and kind of just watched all of them. And I can't tell you how many matches I wrestled Kennedy in practice against my coaches because they'd try to mimic exactly how she wrestled, and I knew that she's a really great athlete, and she's just powerful. The last time I didn't really have a game plan going into the match whatsoever. I kind of just try to wrestle how I normally wrestle, very aggressive, very offensive, and we're both very offensive people. And every time I shot underneath her, she kind of just crushed me and scored on me. So I knew that I couldn't go underneath her, and I know that I'm a better hand fighter. I I grew up hand fighting a lot, so I knew that if I could hand fight her, and my overall plan was to hand fight her, get her tired in the first period, and kind of capitalize on her shots. And I worked a lot on leg defense, double defense, single leg defense, and then also a lot on controlling the center of the mat. So yeah, it's very different. I think I wrestled very different from how I normally do, but sometimes you have to change up the style of your wrestling so you can beat certain people.
You guys were texting back and forth during the day, is that right?
Yeah, I posted a picture. Um, I don't know. I don't remember. I think Flo posted a picture of both of us, like these two will meet in the finals or something. And I posted it to my store, and I was like, this picture, because like we both look very interesting, like in our pictures. And she slid up. She's like, did you see my face in that? Like, I don't look any much better. And I was like, I don't know. Like, we both look pretty bad. But yeah, that was pretty much all we texted during that day. And then the day before, I was hanging out with my friend Marisol, and she's my best friend, but she lives in a different state, and she was roommates with Kennedy. So anytime I was with Marisol, I was like with Kennedy as well. But yeah, it wasn't awkward. Like we were hanging out kind of like the first day of the tournament by the warm up area, watching matches together, just kind of talking. Um, yeah.
Second match, you come out and you still have a great strategy. She couldn't get to you, but the headbutt, it looks like you guys hit heads, and then it looks like she got concussed. I don't know the status of where she is now, but she kind of got knocked out there and could not continue. What happened there
Mhm.
from your vantage point?
Yeah, so I was just kind of executing my game plan, just trying to control the center of the mat, stay in a really low stance, pressure forward, and she kind of lunged at me, and we hit heads. It didn't. My friends and family always make fun of me, and they said you just have a hard head, but I wasn't like too affected by it because I guess I don't know. I guess maybe I do have a hard head, but yeah. So she kind of lunged at me. We head butted, and then she knocked out. Um, but yeah, that was I don't know. That's really all that happened.
And when you're in that moment and the doctors are attending to her, how do you keep your frame of mind to know that you might have to continue wrestling?
Um, I don't know. I just knew no matter what, like she wasn't just gonna give me the spot. So regardless of if she were to continue or not continue, I knew that I still had to stick to my game plan and keep my mind right, just going forward. So that's exactly what I did. But she obviously didn't get to finish wrestling, which is a bummer. But yeah, I don't know.
Looking forward to the Senior World Championships. It's just coming up. What does the next couple weeks look like for you before you go over to Oslo?
Yeah, so I'll be here until next week, Wednesday in Wisconsin, just training with my coaches in Burlington and then with Nazar as well. Kind of just doing what I normally do, privates and just practice. And then I leave super early in the morning Wednesday, and we fly out to Newark, and we train out there for a week. And then right from the training camp, we leave to go to Norway. It's coming up fast.
It is coming up fast, and then quick turnaround for U23. So you have to kind of keep things on a timeline. How do you prepare for that as you move forward after the World Championships?
Yeah, I'm just gonna take things one step at a time, one tournament at a time. I have a lot of really busy winter coming up. I have senior worlds, and then the next month in November I'll have U23 worlds, and then the next month I'll have Pan Am Games. So just kind of one tournament a month, which they're all really big tournaments. So I just kind of um focus on one thing at a time and just try to do the best I can at those tournaments, and then worry about the next tournament after.
How's your body holding up? Do you feel good?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I kind of took what day is it? I don't know. I took the last 2 days off, but I'm gonna go back to practice tonight. I was a little sore. My neck was a little sore, and my arm was kind of bothering me from that leg lace. But it's starting to feel better now, so probably go back to practice tonight.
You don't turn 18 until December. Has this been a fun year at the age of 17, being able to get to do all this cool stuff?
Yeah, it is. I always get the question, "Are you still in high school? Like, how old are you?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm senior, I'm still 17." They're like, "Ah, you're not 18 yet. That's crazy." I'm like, "Yeah, I guess not." Um, yeah, so it's been fun. I think it's definitely it makes more everything more exciting just because of my age and how young I really am. So yeah, it's like mixed emotions about turning 18. It's like, do I want to turn 18? I don't know. um, it's definitely, it made things a little difficult because now that I like, after I made the trial finals, I got put into the testing pool, and that's made things difficult because I can't even sign my own paperwork yet. So I don't even like, I can't do anything without a parent signature or my dad physically being there. So it's a little different because the senior level girls are kind of their own people, and I'm still just the 17-year-old that can't even take herself to the doctor without getting parent consent. So yeah, it's different, but it's exciting.
Andy Hamilton just wrote a story about the possibility of a Power Five school out of Iowa City, and you can probably connect the
Mhm.
dots of what school that might be. They might
Yeah.
add a Division One women's program. Does that excite you, and how does that make you assess what you would do for a college?
Yeah, it's very exciting. I've kind of been waiting and waiting and waiting for someone to finally drop the ball, and I'm excited that someone's going to get a jump start on it. Um, it does definitely open my options up a little bit. Um, I don't really know exactly what I want to do after high school, which the end of high school is coming up really fast. Like I said, I'm going to graduate this January, so um, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely going to be a really big decision for me whether I want to go to college and wrestle or go to an RTC, or there's a few other options as well. And I don't know, going to be a lot of thought and time going into the decision I'm going to make.
If you do go to an RTC, how do you make that decision?
I guess depends on the offer I get. If there's, I guess it all depends. Like I said, my overall goal is going to be an Olympic gold medal. So whether going to college is the way that it's going to get me there, or training in an RTC, just whatever will best fit me.
What do you like about the possibility of the college experiences if you went that route?
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, I've had some friends like um go to a D1 college this year, and they always send me all their cool gear and just like being a part of a team and everything. And that's really cool and exciting because I didn't even get to go to high school, and I never really got to be a part of any sort of team except for world teams. So I think that being part of a team would be cool, and just all the cool gear of like feeling like, oh yeah, this is my school and I'm gonna wear it proud type of thing. I think that would be really cool, and just the different atmosphere. But yeah, I don't know. Definitely a hard decision coming up.
Going back to Kennedy Blades, your opponent in the World Team Trials Finals, have you talked to her since then? How's she doing? Any idea?
I haven't talked to her. No, I texted her, but I haven't heard back. And then I talked to Coach Aaron from SEM, and I asked her like the same day of the tournament if she was going to be okay, and she said that she was going to be okay. But yeah, I'm not really sure.
Hey, I want to go back to something you said earlier. You said you did mountain biking. Is that a competitive high school sport?
Yeah, it was. I think I started that in sixth or seventh grade, and I wasn't very good the first year. I think I podiumed once, and I think they podiumed the top six. So I wasn't like the greatest at it at first, and then I kind of invested more of my time into it on top of wrestling. And at first, I kind of just did it to stay in shape for wrestling because it's obviously like great for cardio. And then by my second year, I won state a few times, and then by my third year, I think I won all five races, and then state too. And then I kind of had to give it up. So which is kind of sad, but yeah.
What does the race look like when they start? Do you stagger start? Is everyone at the start at the beginning like a cross country race?
Yeah, it's kind of like a cross country race. They'll have like five or six bikes in the front, and there'll be boxes painted off where you have to start. Depending on how you do the last race or what age division you're biking in will depend on who gets you go in the front. They'll kind of call you up to the line. They'll announce your name, and like at first, like I was just kind of in the way back, and they'll announce everybody else, and all the like ranked ones, and then they'll be like, okay, everyone fill in. And like for a while, I was just like part of the fill in. So um, yeah, it's definitely interesting. The adrenaline before you start a race is crazy. It's almost like as soon as you step onto the wrestling mat and they blow the whistle, like it's just the rush is crazy, and you have one foot on the ground, one foot on your bike pedal, and they count down from like 10, I think, and the bike announcer who always did it would hold out the word go and blow, like everyone would be blowing like horns and bells, and the energy is just really cool and crazy, and yeah, those were so much fun.
How's your nerves before a wrestling match?
Um, I think it's more of excitement and adrenaline versus nerves. I don't think I've ever gotten too nervous. I think the only time I really got nervous was wrestling Adeline. I don't think I've ever been more nervous in my life. But I don't know. I kind of just have a routine that I go through before every match and just try to keep my mind off the match. And then I think it was really different because actually when I wrestled Kennedy, obviously we were the first match, and I don't think I've ever been the first match of any sort of session whatsoever. So I didn't know that I was the first match until I was getting my hair braided. I think it was like 1 o'clock when I was getting my hair braided, and my hair wasn't even done. And I was hanging out with Marisol and Alicia Hauck, who was braiding my hair, and Marisol goes back to her room because I needed small hair ties and asked Kennedy for some hair ties. And then Kennedy goes, "Did you see that me and Kylie are first match?" And so Marisol comes and tells me, and I'm like, "What? Like I'm the first match?" So then I finish getting my hair braided. I get picked up by my dad, brought back to my hotel. I have to get changed. I have to get my wrestling bag, like get everything together. And then we rush over the tournament. I start warming up at 1:20, warm up for 15 minutes, and then they were like, "Clear the mats." And I was like, "Oh shoot, like this is a short warm up." So then I kind of cleared the match, had 10 minutes to just kind of get mentally ready, and then I didn't really have too much time to overthink the match, and I just walked out there, and I think I think that was a lot better because I wasn't like too amped up, but I wasn't relaxed either. So I think that was definitely different. I normally am like the last match of the tournament, and being the last match of the tournament is not the greatest thing. So I think I like being the first match better.
Kylie, the floor is yours as we close out this interview. Any parting thoughts from you as we close out the Bader Show?
um, I don't know. I just want to thank everybody that has helped me get here. I have lots of coaches and family that have given up a lot and just helped me so much. I'm just beyond grateful to be where I'm at, and I'm really excited to go out to Senior Worlds and give it my all and hopefully take home a gold medal.
That is Kylie, not Kyle Welker. Thanks for being on the Bader Show. I am Kyle Klingman. You have been listening to the Bader Show.